What's up, everybody? Nick back with you from Project Central, and today we're finally starting the roll cage build on the Miata cart. We are going to weld some pads onto the tub so that we can mount our cage. We're going to mount these seats. See, they're still kind of loose. And we're going to start building up our roll cage for the main body of the car. So, cart. Oh, man. Long time coming. Been a ton of work getting here. If you haven't followed along in this build series, this is part, I don't know, 6 or 7 or 8 or whatever. I don't even know. Numbers, right? But we bought this $1,300 Auction Miata that's already been turboed over the summer. And as soon as I bought it, I knew exactly what I wanted to do was build a cart. And as we've been going along, we found more and more rust that we fixed. Last week we did floor pans and rocker panels. This week we're doing cage work. And I'm so excited. But first thing we got to do, we got to mount these seats. So let's go. So these are just some old junky seats I actually bought used a long time ago. I was going to put them in my Jeep, but that project is, well, sitting in the driveway. But we're going to technically acquire them for our Miata cart project. And why are we mounting the seats first? Pretty simple. I got to know where to build the cage. I got to get the seats right where they're going to live. And then I got to kind of build the cage around it. Goal is to hopefully have the cage, the main hoop, be just a little bit taller than the windshield frame, which we did keep the windshield frame. And then we'll tie in the A-pillar, and we'll run some kickers to the back, and we'll do some door bars. And at some point, we are definitely going to have to yank the dash off to do our spreader bar across the dash, and then we'll put the dash back in, hopefully, at the end. So that's the plan for this video. Mount the seats, put in the main part of the roll cage. One caveat is I've never built a full roll cage before by myself. I've always done it with other people helping me. So caveat is I'm an idiot and I don't really know what I'm doing, but we're gonna make mistakes together. So if you have roll cage experience, if you've got race car experience, let me know what mistakes I've made down in the comments, because I'm gonna make some. But we are gonna be building this entire cage out of 1 3/4 120 wall DOM for the main hoop and A-pillar, and then we've got some 1.5 120 wall DOM as well, because I want to roll. I want to match the cage to the arch of the windshield frame. So the Harbor Freight roller I've got that I'm gonna try and figure out how to use. I've never even unboxed it. It's only got 1.5 and 2-inch dies, so we bought some 1.5 tubing as well. So that's what we got. Let me show you these seats. Plan for the seats is driver's side has an adjuster, as a slider. So, you know, as different drivers need to get in and out, you got to make sure everyone fits, because I do want to take this on track days and stuff. But the passenger seat, we're not going to put that on slider. We're just going to bolt that to the tub in a comfortable position. So, first thing we got to do, I think, is we need to build probably some sort of template to figure out the bolt pattern for this mess, and then we can kind of figure out exactly where I want to run some tubes. I think I just want to run one tube at the front, and then the back will just bolt through the tub. Maybe that's a mistake. I don't know. It should work. Ran out of time last night, so we're jumping back on it. Got me a driver's side template made for our template for that. I think it's pretty close. I think the plan is going to be, we're going to get this tub cleaned up just a little bit more. I got to cut out this little spot here,
and I gotta remove some paint. But I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna weld in a tube across here, and that's gonna be our new seat mounts. So the factory seat mounts that were in here were just destroyed, and I knew that we were gonna be doing some fancy race car seats, race car style seats, and adding some tube. So let me get this all cleaned up, and then we'll try and figure out what the heck we're doing with this thing. Out here, I may have really put my braces in the wrong spot because I got kind of short legs. So let me get in here and check this out for a second. Okay, that feels pretty good. Okay, let's see what that looks like. So basically, this mark right here is where the front of this really needs to be, and our bolts or bolt holes are about right here. The seats do have sliders, so like if we get close, that's okay. So like my bolt, so like the bottom of my seat needs to be there. Could put my plates here. My bolts are really close. I could just run some tabs, right? Huh, that's not a bad idea. Forget using the tube. Let me go, I gotta do some checking on, make sure there's no like tech rules on seat mounting. Let me do some research, BRB. All right, so here is the plan, as I understand it right now. I am going to take this piece, I'm going to throw a break in it right here in the middle, maybe at a little angle, and we are going to get that piece fit in there just like that. Second piece over here, we're going to move this one forward and we are going to get this one put in. And then we've got our mark right here, that's where our bolts need to be. We're going to come back here as kind of low as we can, and we're going to put a tube across. We're still doing the tube for a couple reasons. One, NHRA rule book says that any seat needs to be mounted either to the frame or to a cross member. So being a unibody car, I don't exactly know if bolting it to the tub counts. So we're gonna put a piece of tube in here. Other thing that does for us is it will allow us the ability to put a tab off the front of it for our fifth point of our harness, our submarine belt. So if we are in a crash, you know, that's the one that goes up through your legs. So yeah. I think that's the plan. Also, what this does is in the future, if we ever put a different set of seats in here, maybe I put a Kirky in here at some point, having a tube across here that we can put different tabs on and stuff kind of allows us in the future to expand. So let me go ahead and get this bent up, welded up, get a tube put in here, and you know, we'll see what happens. If you know anything about NHRA rules, post in the comments, because if I'm not going to be too far along that I can't undo this. And I'll probably just tack everything into place for now. So that's kind of the plan. But yeah, let's go. Okay, so where are we at now? Well, I got the seat, I got the driver's seat sort of mocked up in here. You can see, put some light on the subject. We got our cross piece braced in there. I may end up lowering this tube. Everything's just tacked together right now. We're gonna have a whole bunch of finish welding to do. But for now, I've got the driver's seat mocked up. That's really the most important one, obviously. Now we're gonna start working on the cage. First thing we got to do though is start putting pads. They're called pads on the body, on the tub. So we got to make something right here for the roll cage to land on. It needs to be twice the thickness of the tube or the body or something like that. So I think we're going to use some either some 3/16 or I've got this old chunk of tube that I may cut to length, notch all this out so it slides up smoothly in there. I might do that. I might just come down here and use some 3/16 landing right there on this so that we can have a place for our pillars to land. I was really hoping to get the A-pillar like way up here, but I think I am going to bump it back a little bit and bring it up just so that when we do our spreader bar that goes through the dash that way, it's going to be a lot easier to do that if the tube is out here. So we may end up just doing a piece of like 3/16 with a little bend in it and land our tube, I don't know, over here somewhere. I don't know. I've never done this before. So we're learning together. Okay, I need 2 of them at 3x9. Would you just look at it? So good. All right, so all 4 of these pieces we just cut out, we're gonna have to break them, like in the press brake. These longer 3x9" ones, well, we're gonna have to make them fit right here. So we're gonna have to bend a 90 on this end. But because this swoops a little bit, we're gonna have to do it in multiple passes. So not that big a deal, but we're gonna make it so that we can tie it in here and all in here and hopefully get it tight enough we can weld all that out. And these ones here, these shorter ones, well, we're gonna have to kind of notch around this body line so that we can get all the way over. And you can see there's a big gap here. We could cut them off flush, but I do want to try and break this over so that we can tie it in here, and tie it into the existing seams over here. So let's go work on that. Well, I'm probably gonna say this a bunch this video from here on out, but these turned out way better than I expected. Sometimes things just fit right. Let me show you. Check this out. Look at that. It's a little, we gotta get it to sit down a little straighter, but looks good. You can see I did some rosettes, so we'll fill all these in, weld it all the way around, and then grind it smooth before we mount our tubes. These, it's kind of same deal. Rosettes up here. We'll burn all of this in all the way around as best we can. And over here on the passenger side, it's more of the same. So I'm probably gonna go ahead and burn all of those in right quick. Those aren't gonna come back out, so I guess let me do a bunch of welding on those, and we'll start thinking about bending a main hoop. Pretty exciting. I'm excited. Can't you tell? got everything burned in, and I don't know if you can see it or not. Still smoking just a little bit, but all the pads are put in, rosettes filled. I'm gonna go through here with a grinder and a flap disc, clean everything up as best I can. Some of these welds actually look pretty good, so I might leave them. You know, so sometimes it's going right, so you got to show it off. Pause. But we're gonna get this cleaned up. We're gonna get the shop area cleaned up. Some of this stuff we're not gonna be needing anymore. 3/16 plate can go back up. We gotta get swept up and cleaned up a little bit because it's time, y'all. It's time. It is finally time to bend as a main hoop. So, yeah. But because I honestly don't really know what I'm doing, I kind of have to brute strength it, and I got to draw a diagram on the ground with some sidewalk chalk because, you know, is what it is. So I'm gonna get cleaned up, get this ground down, then get cleaned up, get swept up, and then I'll show you kind of what I've got going on in the old noggin as far as main hoop design. Right back. So let's see, where are we at here? We've got 4 sticks of roll cage tubing on the ground. We've got a seat mount that we did today. We've got pads for our roll cage to land on. So yeah, it's finally time to bend a main hoop, and I've been mathing, geometrying. I've been drawing on the ground. Let me show you. So here is the plan. Our outside to outside, oh, you can't see it. Let me rewrite this. We need to be 56 inches wide. 56 inches wide, outside to outside. That is going to land us about 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch right here in the middle of the pad. Right? We are going to cant it back a little bit so that it kind of matches the seat. It's going to be a little swoopy, but nothing crazy. We are going to be, I can't hold the tape measure and the camera and the level, but we're going to be just a little bit taller than our windshield frame, which means this distance here is 28 inches. 28 inches to the top of our tube, and you can see I've got it written on the ground. Okay, we've got some basic measurements. So we laid our cheater out here, right? So if you haven't seen these before, this is just a 90-degree bend. I've got inch marks on inch. This is where the bender die starts. And so this is a 3-foot piece. It takes about 18 inches to make our bend, but I don't want just a 90. So what we're going to do is we're going to bump this in a couple inches, and we're going to bend we're going to make a bend here at 80 degrees, and then we're going to come back over here and do another bend at 10 degrees, right? Makes a 90-degree bend. We do that on both sides. So this measurement from our center line to our 90-degree bend is 17 inches. So we're going to bump this inside to 15 inches on each side. And then we'll be able to come down a little bit, do a little 10-degree bend on each side. And it should, cross your fingers, because this stuff's like 5-something a foot for actual roll cage tubing. Hopefully we get it on the first try, because I ain't getting any more of this. So we're going to kind of get one shot at everything. And I don't imagine a single thing going wrong. I've never done this before, and I'm dealing with material that's expensive enough that I can't replace it. So it'll be just fine. Just fine. We've got our homemade bender. Yep, that's a thing. Basically, I'm gonna cut my first piece here at 106 inches. That's gonna give me about an inch of wiggle room on the length, so that if I need to cut an angle in it to kind of lean it back a little bit, I can. So I'm gonna get a piece cut, get it cleaned up. I've got my pipe jacks out here with a piece of angle iron so I can make a reference line. So I can make me a reference line, you know, reference line so that I can make sure my bins are all on the same plane. Anyways, let me get some work done. And next thing is bending. All we lack is crying. No, that's not right. Bending. Yeah, let's do that. When I built this thing, it's okay, but it just does not like to do the return. I don't know, it's got a bind or something in it. Reference mark right there. Oh, put the angle finder on. Whew, first one's gonna go to about 80 degrees. This isn't terrifying. Oh, I messed it up already. Oh my gosh. First bend and I screwed it up. Dang it. Son of a biscuit, I put my bender on the wrong side of my mark. Remember when I said I couldn't afford any mistakes? Yeah, me too, because that was like 5 minutes ago. Okay, I want to know. I paid like $120 a stick for this DOM. So it's like what, $6 a foot? A little less than $6 a foot. What does DOM in your area cost? All right, 80 degrees. I think we only ended up with about 75 degrees. You know what? That is okay. $77 is what we were at the other one. Come on, come on, come on. We're close. Not like Lincoln Riley close, but like we're close. We need to come up here, same distance on each side. Someone who actually knows how to bend roll cage tubing is screaming at their TV right now. It's way tall. We got to cut the legs down. All we got is a hoop. It didn't. I should have, knowing what I know now, I should have started this bend. I only went 2 inches in. I should have gone probably 4 inches in. And then this bend could have been lower. But it's fine. We need to cut this to height because we are way too tall. And I knew I wanted our legs long, but our hoop is not bad. Not bad. When we cut our legs to height, we should gain a little bit of narrowness, and then we're pretty close, so I can ratchet strap it together and tack it in. So, yay! Oh, we just gotta go around the roll cage. Oh, look, here's a rear view mirror. I'm sure that's strong. Yeah, that absolutely just does look just like a 90-degree bend. I should have 100% started my bend back here. But, I mean,
mean, it's kind of got a little subtle to it. I haven't used this bender in like a bazillion years, so it's gonna take a little bit getting used to it again. Well, battery died on me, so I'm not sure where it left off. GoPro problems, right? But check this out. Yo, we got us a main hoop. Show you the back. Right? Like I said earlier, I wish I would have started this bend a couple inches over, because I really would have kind of kicked that out. But I think that it doesn't look too bad. Next plan is we are going to start on these A-pillars. I don't know if we're going to do that tonight. We'll probably jump on that first thing in the morning, just because, I don't know, it's late. I ask a lot of my neighbors, so sometimes when it's like nighttime, I try not to make as much noise. But anyways, look at it, y'all. It's so good. Like I said, I've never done this before, and I'm having a lot of fun learning new stuff. But tomorrow, bright and early, we're going to start making the rest of the cage. Back at it the next day. Got a decent night's sleep. Got to think on the cage process. And before we start making the A-pillars, because that's what's next, I really need to yank the dash out. So, as you can see here, the A-pillar is going to go somewhere in this area. And we are going to have a spreader bar that goes across. So, I think to make everything easier in my life, sort of easier in my life, I'm going to go ahead and yank the dash. Also, all the climate control stuff, gone. Radio, gone. Airbag, gone. Eventually, we're going to end up... I might go ahead and just pull the steering wheel, because eventually we are going to have to put a quick release steering wheel on, because there's probably not going to be any way to get in and out without pulling the steering wheel. So I'm going to go ahead and start pulling the dash. Now we are finally ready to start working on some A-pillars. We got the new windshield covered with new fiberglass welding blanket, and we got the steering wheel kind of loose, dashboard's out, and yeah, let's make some complicated bends. Let's see if I can figure this out. All right, so our plan 2 comes up, follows the angle of the windshield, turns back, and we're going to try and land it right here on this bend. Somewhere. Probably about right here. Can we do it? I don't know, I've never done this before. That will allow us also to come along the backside in the future and run our diagonal brace down. Right, we'll run that down. It'll be a little bit of an angle. Let's get our cheater piece and maybe make some measurements. All right, so maybe I think I got this figured out. Let's see if we can pull it off. So, show you my drawing, not to scale. Basically, we've got 9 inches from the bottom to where our bend starts. And then we need a 53, 55 degree bend. And then up at the top, we'll do either like a 20 or 22 degree bend. We're not going to bend it a full 90 because it is, since the main hoop is up a little bit taller than the windshield, we're going to have to kind of come, and then I kind of want this top bar to be kind of flat. I don't want it to be like super uphill. So we'll see how it goes. But I want to cut a piece of tube at 76 inches. I thought about using the piece that we had messed up yesterday, but I think I want to use that maybe for some door bars or something, because I can go bend since I've got a mark on the other side, I can kind of bend the other side, and then I can cut it in half and get two of the same pieces, one for the left and right side door bar. So I think that's going to be the best use of material.
So, like I said, we're going to cut a piece 76 inches, clean it up, scribe a straight line on it, and get it bent up.
All right, first A-pillar tacked in place. I have not climbed in to see what it looks like, feels like inside. First impressions, I think it turned out okay. This notch was a little funky to do. Took some trial and error, but we got pretty dang close. Looks pretty good. You see on a lot of Miata carts where this flat part of the tube up there is like really kicked up because they make the main hoop too tall, and it just looks really funky. But I think I did pretty good on this one. I didn't want to land it at the very top. You can see the main hoop is just a smidge taller, so it's probably 3/4 of an inch, maybe an inch above this, because this is down on this arch a little bit. But that's what she looks like from the front. Not bad. I really wanted to hug that windshield frame a little bit tighter on this part, but I didn't want to. But to do that, I was afraid I was gonna have to put another bend out here, and I just kind of didn't want that. This is a budget build, so I'm not too worried about it. So far, how am I doing? Never built a cage before by myself. I've done them. I've got a little bit of experience as a helper, and obviously I've got the tools because I've done some tube work before. But pause. Yeah. So let me know what you think, how this is going. I'm gonna take a quick little water break, and then try and get this other side matched up. That's the scary part. I took some notes, added to my notes a little bit, but we'll see if we can't recreate this. I'm sure it'll be easy. Nope. I've been staring at this thing for about 20 minutes, and I just can't stand it. I can't stand the gap right here. It's nice and tight down here, and it's got like a 3-inch gap up here. So I'm gonna break this loose, and then I'm gonna come back about, I don't know, 8 or 10 inches, and we're gonna put about a 10-degree bend in it so that we can lean this in a little bit, turn that in a little bit, and then kind of hopefully land in the same spot. We'll probably have to do some more notching and stuff, but I just can't stand it. I hate it, and it's always gonna bug me if I don't. So let's see what we can fix. Well, we hit our first major roadblock. Tubing bender broke. It was going great until it wasn't. So, put this whole thing on pause. Figure something out. Not great. Okay. It's been a couple hours. Been doing some research, and I have got to scrap this tubing bender I built. I mean, I probably built that 10 years ago just to make a couple bends. I'm not going to keep replacing those pillow bearings that broke. We're going to build another tubing bender. I thought about buying another one, because then I could get, you know, obviously one that's got a designed frame, or the affordable bender's whole package, and I could get one with a 1.5-inch die, which would be kind of nice because we've got some 1.5-inch on this project, and it would be nice to do 1.5-inch stuff as well. But because I spent so much money on tubing, it's not really in the budget. So we're going to build another one. I've got a piece of 6x12 quarter wall tubing that I think should work just fine. Probably have to do a lot of plasma cutting, a lot of grinding on it. But that's going to come in the future. I've got some parts ordered from Amazon. I got to order a 1-inch drill bit and some other odds and ends. But we're not going to let it stop us. We still have stuff to do on the cart. We still have stuff to do. We need to lower this seat. I got to cut that tube out, and I've got to lower it. I've got to weld in probably some reinforcement pads. Probably use some 1/8-inch material, or maybe just cut some big washers and kind of tack them in place so that as we're bolting the seat down, it's not just to the thin sheet metal tub. We can still do straight tubing, right? We're going to have to do an X. Boop. We're going to have to do an angle there. We're going to have to do a harness bar across. So, yeah, we've still got stuff to do. And we also have, see, it's back there. It's hiding. Hello. We got a tubing roller that we need to set up for that 1.5-inch tube, because one of the things I want to do, I bought that a long time ago on clearance, but we're going to have to get that set up because I do want to match the angle of this windshield frame. Even if it's not super tight, I want it to be pretty dang close. We also need to come down here. We need to do some pads. Probably do another pad here in the middle for our door bar. We're going to have some door bars that come across, and I'm going to run a little vertical up to tie all the doors together. I think it'll look good, look cool, and you know, so we still have quite a bit to do here on the main cage while waiting on parts to show up. And also I need to do some more welding because you can see we are almost out of weld gas, so I need to use the last little bit of this up so that I can go down to the weld shop and get that bottle swapped out. This is a Wednesday right now. I took this week off work, so I need to use up that weld gas so that I can go down and swap that out at the weld store while I'm off work and not have to use any more PTO. Did not imagine the tubing bender breaking like this right in the middle of the project, which sucks, but adapt and overcome. And like I said, we still got plenty to do. I've still got the passenger seat. We haven't even worked on that, so we got a bunch of welding to do on that. Driver's seat, we can still continue working on that. Pad there, cross piece there, harness bar, etc., etc., etc. Actually, harness bar, we might bump that out a little bit. Right, we might do an X, do our diagonal. We'll probably do a true X because I think that'll look good. And then, which we can do all out of straight pipe. We don't need the tubing bender for that. But then, for our harness bar, we will put some bends so that we can bump it out a little bit. So, we got stuff to do. I'm gonna throw a podcast on, throw some headphones in, and work on these seats first, probably. Jumping back into the build, it's the next day, it's Thursday. Broke the tube bender yesterday. That really bummed me out. I've got a plan. I'm going to have to build another one. I've got all the parts, right? So, I've got the die. I've got the follower. It's over there. I've got the 12-ton jack, air jack. I just need a new frame or housing to put it in. And I got a plan. I think it's a good plan. We'll see. It's going to involve a lot of cutting and plasma cutting. So, we'll see.
But this morning, I went ahead and got the passenger side seat mount in. I just got to drill some holes. Got my template here, right? So passenger side fits a lot better. And so we'll drill some holes here. We'll drill some holes through here. We'll add some pads or something in the back. Something. We'll figure that out exactly. Driver's seat sort of frustrating the heck out of me. Here, I can show you. I had to order a new pair of seat sliders because there's a seat slider down here. Both of these you're getting mounted right here. A second. All right here. Yeah. We're falling here. Okay. So I had to order a new pair of seat sliders because see how that doesn't have the spring is all screwed up, and it looks like it was maybe tack welded on. Well, basically, after you adjust your seat, there's nothing to keep the locking mechanism from coming unlocked. So, ordered a new pair. To get the seat low enough, we're gonna have to do a little bit of finagling. That's a technical term, by the way, which means just getting stuff done. So, what I think I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna go ahead and burn in the main hoop to the tub, and then I'm gonna start working on the diagonal bar. We gotta have at least one, so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a diagonal bar and a harness bar below it. Those are all gonna be straight pieces, so should be pretty straightforward. Maybe I'll do an X, and then once I get the tubing bender built, I'll do a bumped out harness bar. I don't know. Probably not. I'll probably do a diagonal and then run the harness bar horizontally through it, and then that'll take less tube. So it's probably what we're gonna do. So let me get the seat out of the way, get the welder set up, and then burn all of this in, or this little bit in right quick. Probably need to land that right in the middle of that middle of that bend. Oh, that's pretty good. Fine. Well, we got our piece. We got our diagonal going down. Got it marked. This is where we're going to cut it. I've got it scribed or kind of markered on the back side where we were going to kind of have to cope it. That side, the cope turned out pretty good. Did it through the tube notcher. We'll obviously have to flap wheel it a little bit, but no big deal. Over here, though, this is a little bit funky of a cope, right? So you've got a diagonal bar going in and landing right on the inside bend. So we're going to cut it a little long, hit it with the tube notcher, and then I'm pretty sure we're going to have to finish her off with the flap disc. Do some hand finishing. So no big deal. I'm sure it'll go just fine. And then we'll come down here and we'll run wherever it needs to be. We'll run our harness bar across that way. Ooh, actually, we'll figure out a harness bar at some point. Driver's side, I'm not worried about. Passenger side, I guess we could have one of the harnesses mount here and one mount on the other side of the tube. I guess it does depend on how high it is. Anyways, let's get this notched, let's get this put in place, and then we'll figure it out. Alright, I'm not gonna lie, this turned out pretty good. Put it in the right way and it'll turn out pretty good. I guess technically it's not going to take a whole lot more tubing to do a harness bar. I'll come out here, we'll throw like a 45 on it and bump it out a little bit and shoot it in front of this tube. Maybe. Maybe. Alright, got the seats just kind of tossed back in there. Nothing's actually bolted down. Of course, not yet. Alright, we've got about 4 inches there to the back of the passenger seat. And during final mounting, we can bump that seat up just a smidge. Driver's seat, I got short legs, so it will have plenty of room there. So I do think that we can bend as a nice harness bar. Yeah. Bump it out on a 45. It'll just stick out, I don't know, 1.5 inches or so, maybe 3/4 of an inch. And I guess we gotta miss that tube. So we'll bump it out, throw a harness bar about right here. But we gotta get the bender back for that. I'm gonna get my new, like I said earlier, my new seat sliders and stuff. We're gonna be here soon-ish. Hopefully Amazon will bring them today. And then also ordered a new harness. I've got, let me show you right quick. I've got this old harness from PRP. I'm gonna put that on the passenger side because it is old. It's never been used, but it is way out of date. I probably bought that in like 2018. So it's been a minute. It'll be good for the passenger side, but not for the driver's side. So we're gonna work on seats, and then I am going to probably take a little bit of time off, and I gotta build another tubing bender. I think I've got all the parts and pieces either here or ordered. So got some family stuff to do also this afternoon. So I'm gonna take a little break from the Miata cart, but y'all, it's looking pretty good. That's what we got. Couple of tubes that are be messed up, but we can use all those parts and pieces for other stuff. We'll see if this is the end of the video or not, but I don't know. Stay tuned. After the debacle that has been this past weekend, we are finally back. So let's recap. Wednesday, I broke the tubing bender. This is a different one. Remember? Wednesday I broke the tubing bender, and I've spent Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, basically 4 days rebuilding it. Well, I didn't do anything Sunday. But yeah, finally at the point where we can bend some tubing, get back on this thing. So back to work. I think we have just enough. Oh, let me get back here in the light. I think we have just enough tubing. I think we bought just enough that there's the one A-pillar I screwed up. But I think we have enough to finish all of our main cage. I will probably have to go back to the metal store and get some hot rolled tubing, not this DOM, which DOM was like $130 a stick. That hot rolled was like 40 something a stick. So the front and the back bash bars and fenders and tube work will probably get made out of the cheap stuff, and the expensive DOM roll cage tubing will probably just be for the roll cage and door bars and stuff. So I think I've got enough tubing for everything, but we'll see. But enough of that. That's all speculation for the future. Let's bend up some A-pillars. Okay, got the first A-pillar done, and well, I guess we got it done for the second time, and it looks good, I think. Let me know what you think. So nice, tight to the windshield, and we ended up doing about a, I don't know, 10 or 15 degree kick out on that tube, so it's not really in the same plane. So it fits pretty nice. Let me know what you think. I'm gonna go ahead and get some measurements taken and tacked into place. Got it all notched nice, and so we're gonna get it tacked into place so that in the future we can burn it in. Gonna go work on side number 2. Here we go. Here's what it looks like from this side. So that looks pretty good. A lot of times you look at the cage and that bar right there gets like really angled high because they don't keep the rear hoop low enough. So I really wanted to, in this cage, keep that pretty flat on the top. It's not obviously perfectly flat, as you can see, but it's a pretty dang close. I just hate the ones that are like super pitched up in the back. They look terrible in my opinion. Sorry to anybody that has one of those like that, but you know, it is what it is. So like I said, I'm going to get this tacked into place, throw a couple tacks on the bottom, throw a couple tacks on the top, make some measurements so that I can match the other side, and yeah, let's go bend another one. Also, huge shout out to my neighbor down the street, RJ, brought me a steering wheel. He said he's got a quick release hub that I can have too. So he's got a sweet S2000, and he's got an old Datsun 720 pickup that is super rad. Both of them are super rad. We'll go down there and check those out at some point. So if you love cool cars like that, let me know. I've got a soft spot in my heart for Nissans. That was my first cool car. It was a 78 280Z, and I want another one. But for now, back to work on the Miata cage. Oh yeah, we got some A-pillars. Check them out. Let's see. Little bit of a walk around. Let's see if I can't do this. Walk around. As you can see, like I said earlier, they're swooped up a little bit, but dang, they look good. And I'm glad to be done with these because tubing bender is having issues. It is hating life, so to say, right now. It is not wanting to bend. We have a few more bends to do for sure. We've got harness bar. It's gonna come out at like a 45 and then bump across here in front of this diagonal brace tube. We're gonna have to do some door bars, but we're also gonna have to put a spreader bar across there and spreader bar across top. Got something cool we're gonna do with that. We're gonna use 1.5 inches up there, and we're gonna use the tubing roller to follow the curve of the windshield. We'll put one down the middle, and then eventually we'll get to doing the once we do the back, once we figure out where we're going to cut the back, we'll do our kickers down to the back. Loving it. This is turning out so good. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I don't know. Never built a cage before, so I think it's going well. Jumping back into progress the next day, and we've got piece our cutoff piece. This was I think 55 inches, I think. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a straight line down it, like we've been doing. Clean it up, get it all cleaned up, put a straight line down it. We're gonna go ahead and notch it, and then we're gonna try and bend it up. The bender is on the struggle bus, firmly riding the struggle bus. So we're gonna see how much we can get out of it. Yeah, it's gonna be easiest to notch it first and then bend it up. So see how it goes. Okay, we were trying to sneak up on it, and we snuck too much, and now we're about a ½ inch short. If you notice, right, our roll bar here does lean in a little bit, right? So we did make the compound bend there. So I was taking measurements up higher, and so that's kind of what I built the bar to, and then when I put it down lower, there's a gap. So I may be doing the hack thing here, but we are going to cut it in half, sleeve it, and weld it back together. I bought this stick of 1.5 DOM to go with the 1.75 DOM because they're made to slide together. So it'll be fine. We're going to use a nice, a good 8 to 10 inch piece of DOM inside, 1.5 DOM for the sleeve. Oh look, got a piece right here left over from the seats. So I'm going to cut this down, cut my piece in half, drill some holes for rosettes in the plug welds in the main tube, cut this down to about 8 inches, deburr everything, make some measurements, put it together, tack it all into place, and then when we weld the cage out, we'll weld out the entire sleeve and everything also. So let's knock that out. Before I go and knock that out, is this a hack thing to do? Not sure I would do this on like a major structural component, the A-pillar, the main hoop. Like, I don't think you can do any of that on, I don't think you can splice any of that. But for just a harness bar or like a door bar or something like that, I think it should be okay. But what do you all think? Let me know. Because I have no idea. I'm just not wanting to use up all my good materials. And I don't want a bunch of leftover tube that's $6 a foot. Probably not ideal, but we'll fix it with welding. Harness bar is in. Drilled some rosettes so it'll get rosetted. It's just a hair lower than the seats. Bumps out in front to miss the X. Anyways, not bad. We'll fix it at some point when we do weld everything up. I think I'm gonna work maybe on some door bars. I gotta do some research. I've seen some that have 2, some that have 1. I would like to just put 1 in right here. I gotta do some reading on the rules just to see if that's legal or not, or if I have to have 2. So, be right back. A little bit of builder's block. I've been staring at this thing for, I don't know, about an hour now. And I think what I need to do, so I've got a few more pieces to to do for the rest of this video. So I've got a spreader bar that's going to go from that front hoop across, straight across, probably right there somewhere. I've got a top bar that's going to go across, top spreader. We got some 1.5 inches. I think everything I'm reading on different rules says that I can use that. It's about the smallest size you can use, so I'm going to do probably a piece, put a piece through the tubing roller, so we got to get that set up, and then we're going to put a piece in there. I'll run a piece down the middle. Maybe I'll do an X. Maybe I'll do something fun. I don't know. We'll see. And then lastly, I need to do door bars. A lot of the carts you see only have one. They basically come from here and they go whoop, kind of a straight shot. But I'm trying to build this so that I can take it down the drag strip to SCCA stuff, maybe drift events, and most of them say you gotta have 2 door bars. So I think there's a piece, the first piece we misbent. It's got an angle on it, so I think the plan is I can come down here, and go across, and then we can weld Oz on another pad right here and do a bar straight across right here. I think that'll look the coolest, and then we'll do a couple uprights, tie them together, and I welded these pads in, so I may tie the whole thing to the tub some more, just added protection. So we're gonna work from the inside out, which means I gotta gut the dash, get everything off of it that I don't need, airbag, climate control, wiring, all that stuff. So I'm gonna gut the dash, get it put back in temporarily, just to see where my bar can go and where the steering wheel needs to be, and then we'll take some measurements, we'll pull the dash back out, put our bar in, and then try and put the dash back in, I think, just to make sure everything jives. So let's work on that. So I'm trying to make a video here, and my neighbor pulls up. Let's go check out his pickup. Let me know what you think.
What's up, dude?
Dude, you got it back. I'm putting this on my channel.
Oh, hell yeah.
What year's the
77.
77?
Yeah.
This is RJ. He lives down the street. He's got a cool S2000 and a cooler Datsun pickup.
Yeah, this thing's cool. You gotta see this.
Oh, the
It's
hood.
nice and clean under here now.
Ooh!
1.8 liter turbo.
CA18, right?
CA18.
And
yeah.
those, what those come in?
89, 90 Sylvia and Pulsars.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty cool.
JDM for life.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Dude, this thing is so sick.
That turbo whistles real nice.
It's on bags. Are those the same wheels that were on it?
Yeah. Yeah, I
God,
washed them
cool.
to the best of my ability. I got some chrome polish, but there's enough nicks on them that the imperfection, nothing about the truck is perfect, so the little...
Perfect driver. His S2000 wasn't cool enough, so he had to get this.
This is correct.
All right, I'm gonna see if I can con a ride out of him right quick. I'll be back. That's what I'm talking about. Dude walking his dog was like, what is that thing?
What is that?
Oh. Never, the turbo noises never get old.
Dude, they're so great.
It's awesome having good neighbors. But back to working on my project. Let me show you where we're at right quick. Got the I got the dash bar mocked up. I'm gonna tack it in place, and then I'm gonna try and get the steering wheel kind of where it goes. I gotta get this strap off of there, get kind of the steering wheel pushed up, and then the goal is, since we gutted the dash, see, it's all gutted. There's a bar that went across. The plan is to take the piece. Where'd it go? So this was the stock steering wheel mount. The plan is to get that tacked back on where it needs to go for the steering wheel, and then we're gonna try and climb in and just kind of see how it feels overall. There are two little bolts that go right here to hold the dash in. So we're gonna try and get the dash put back in tonight, and then once we get the dash put back in, and it seems to fit okay, then we're gonna start working on this. But let's get this dash put back in, and we'll see how she looks. Okay, got our steering wheel piece put in. I gotta find the bolts because I don't remember where I put them. Gotta dig through my bag of stuff. Give me 1 second. Oh no. Bar's gotta go up probably 2 inches. That's why we just tack it. All right, got the welder fired up. We're gonna tack this bad thing in there. Got it raised up a couple inches, and I think that's gonna allow the steering wheel to go up the right amount. So we're gonna tack it in over here, level it off, tack it in over there. It's pretty easy. Not bad, I like that. Okay, the seat's definitely gotta come down a little bit, but I may have to cut those tacks and straighten the steering wheel a little bit, but I like it, I think. Next step, we are going to work on our roof bar right here. Oh, directions are hard when you're looking at the camera. Right here, we're gonna work on that roof bar. I've got a piece of tubing just laid up there to get a visual, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna roll a piece of 1.5 inch. But to do that, I've got to get my tubing roller set up, and I've never done that. It's still in the box, so let's get that set up right like that. Tubing roller is set up. Got the 1.5 inch dies put in. Got it bolted down to the table, and we're gonna see if we can't get it figured out. I've got to figure out how to get this thing motorized. I'm gonna use it a lot. This thing is, whew, it's a lot. Let's run it through one more time. See where we're at. Check it out. Looks pretty good. Nice bend. Let's see how it looks on the car. Well, our windshield frame is still covered, but yeah, that's pretty good. That is pretty stinking good. So cut and notch it tomorrow, and then start working on some door bars, because we're getting close. Okay, roof bar. The hoop is done. The windshield bar is done. Next, last, final step, besides welding everything out, we got to do some door bars. So I've got a bunch of 1.5 inch. So what I think I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do one straight tube here, maybe down here, which means I gotta clean all this up, weld another plate onto that, cut a tube that goes there, and then I think I'm gonna do another 1.5 inch tube. I got way more 1.5 inch than I do 1.75 inch right now. Well, not really, but I'm gonna need a lot of 1.75 inch for the back and the front. So I think actually, what if I did both door bars out of 1.5 inches. I got plenty of it. I don't know. Let me get this cleaned up, weld the pad on. I'll do some thinking while I'm working. So where are we at? Okay, we got this cleaned up. Got us a little plate put in here. We're gonna get it tacked in place so that we can take some measurements and kind of finagle where these door bars are gonna go. So let's get this tacked out and do some measuring. I think I like that. All right, so if we did that out of 1.5 inch tube, what do you guys think? I think I kind of like it. All right, so we got our mock-up here. Let's see if I can get in. Let's see how this is going to work. Nothing is fully welded out except the main hoop, so I can't really grab it the way I normally would. So let's see. Oh yeah, that's gonna be really fun. Okay, it's not bad. It is going to have a removable steering wheel, that's for sure. Once again, I am running out of daylight and time, so probably finish these door bars tomorrow. Slow progress, but we're making progress. I think if I make the door bars any higher, though, I'm not gonna be able to get in and out because it's already tight. I jump back on some Miata cart progress. Right, we got our tube situation figured out, our plan here, and we got our plate welded onto the tub for our door bar to land on. We're gonna do one here and one up here. Rules say they got to be 7.5 inches apart, so we're going to make them about 7.5 inches apart here, and then this top one's going to have a little bit of an angle to it. But I was thinking to myself, and I knew it was me because I recognized the voice. We got to finish the seat mounts first, because once I get door bars in here, it's gonna just kind of suck to work around there. So we're gonna figure out the seats. And like any good project, we're redoing stuff. So I got to cut this tube out because the seat is just too high. The seat sits up way too high. So I'm going to cut this tube out. I'm going to hammer on the inside of the tub to get some width, because the seat is just too tight in there. And then we're going to do something else. I've got some 1.5 inch square tube that I might just put right on the bottom of the floor in the tub, and just kind of burn that in as a little spacer as a little riser in the front, and the back we can just put on the tub. But the new sliders we got, because these are not going to work, these old ones that I had. Anyways, redoing work because I was going fast and wanted to work on the cage and didn't get this done when I should have. So we're gonna jump back on that. Oh, would you look at it? Obviously, I still got to get the back bolted down, but it's in a pretty good spot.
we're gonna work on door bars now. I think I like the 1.5 inch. Pause. Let's measure and cut this top one. Crawl in there, see what we think right quick before we get this moved too much. Be an athlete. Hiya! And we put the steering wheel. Oh, that's not bad. All right, y'all. It's pretty sick. Obviously, if we're doing any like real racing, we might have to do some like arm restraints or something, but that is pretty good. I might have to get poured in here every time I get in and out of the car. Obviously, I'm gonna do a detachable steering wheel. I think that'll help. What do we think so far? I'm liking it. Yeah, pretty good. All right, I'm gonna get the other side made, and then we're gonna get the other seat mounted, get the other side made, and then burn everything in. So this video's taking forever. All right, let's see if I can get out of this thing. No. That is not very flattering. Whew, okay, it is nice and toasty in the garage. We just got our last plate tacked on, door bars put in, and we had just enough 1.5 inch. We yeah, just enough. Glad I did not have to buy more. We're saving all the rest of the 1.75 inch for the back of the Miata here, which hopefully will be the next video I make, tying in the back, because we're gonna have to do some kickers down to the back. We still need to cut the back off where it's gonna go, and I got to figure out exactly what I'm gonna do for like a rear bumper and tail lights. I've got some LED trailer tail lights. I think they're from a trailer. They're rounds, so I'm probably put those on, but we got to get there first. So next and last step, we got to get this whole thing buzzed together. Plan is I'm going to pull the seats out, throw the fan on, and just get after it. Right, we've got everything's just tacked together except the main hoop. The main hoop is burned in, so once we start it, we're not going to stop until we've got the whole thing welded out. So we got to be a little mindful on welding a little bit in different spots so the cage doesn't want to like pull and twist and stuff. I might burn some of this in. Some of these tacks are kind of fugly, so I might do some practice welds. Might just say, hey, you know, it is what it is. But let me know what you think so far. Decent cage design. I think it looks pretty good. But, you know, as always, you're never really going to know what it looks like until you get it all the way done and get the wheels and tires back on it and get it back out on the street. So I think we're quite a few weeks away from that. Probably going to spend a week working on the back and hopefully a week working on the front, and then probably another week of just buttoning it up. And then it'll probably be winter and it'll be too cold to drive. Be just my luck. But anyways, for now, burn it all in. It is warm, and I am not as flexible as I used to be. Getting this getting this cage burned in. Whew. Okay, we did a pretty good job protecting the windshield, I think. So let's go ahead. Boom. I think it looks pretty stinking good. Obviously, our harness bar we spliced together here in the middle. We're gonna have to keep burning that in. We're gonna grind all that smooth. That's kind of the one thing you can grind smooth. But the rest of this, basically gonna hit when I go to paint it, prime it. I'll hit everything with a Scotch-Brite pad. Spray with some primer, and just to get all like the little BBs off and stuff. But overall, it's pretty good, y'all. What are we thinking? What are we thinking? I like it. It is definitely going to be tight getting in and out of it. I am not what you would consider athletic. So, getting in and out of it's going to be interesting, but, you know what they say, life finds a way. Anyways, let me know what you think down in the comments. We've had a ton of work doing this, and man, it has been so much fun. Let me know what you think. Would you feel safe racing this cage? Maybe, let me know what you think. Give me some design tips, because if somebody else is building a Miata kart, they're probably going to want to know. But so anyways, thanks. Do what you always do. Take care of one another. And yeah, DOM tubing is expensive, and I'll see you next time over here at Project Central, where probably working on the back. The back is probably what's next, so stay tuned for that, and see you next time. Bye.